So, this time, hopefully with sound. Last time I only talked to myself. So, I was going to get to the Undercity to find that dwarf fellow. And he told me to go to the bathhouse. The old bathhouse on the northeast side of the Undercity is well known around the city as the Loader's Guild base of operations. That sounds right? It is a large decaying building of once beautiful marble, pillars, arches and domes, quite reflective of the fate of the Collegium, really. You make your way to the gates where a couple of rough-looking bouncers stop you. Entry only on official business mate. The head guard lets you know without enthusiasm. Okay. So, yes, that's the right one. I am here for someone, for that dwarf to be exact. Everything changes when you mention the name of Braxius and the fact that you are here for Garrick. The guards become friendly and it is a relief in their voices. Two of them escort you through the corridors, marble halls and hot steam rising from the baths to a back area of storerooms and cells. There they open up a cell with iron keys and shake a smelly dwarf from his sleep. The fuck now? Belligerent fellow growls as he's rumbling his eyes. Come to suck some dwarf cock? Okay. His captors are clearly not amused by his shenanigans. A quick slap to the back of his balding head silences him, though he quickly swears revenge. This the one. We're told he no longer owes the Kapos, so he's all yours. Kapos. Don't know what that is. You are escorted back to the entrance with the dizzy dwarf in tow. Just when you're about to leave through the gate arch, the dwarf notices something and yanks him out of his quiet stupor. He leaps surprisingly quickly to the side of one of the guards and grabs something off his belt, then tears it off. Before the guards could reach he begins shouting, "You fucking bastards! Though you could steal this away and thought you could steal this and get away with it? I'll tear you a new one." Okay. Garrick appears to be holding some kind of an object, golden and with complicated design. The guards are shocked and getting angry, but the sight of the red-faced dwarf and the object as well as their orders give them pause. "Alrighty," the one who had the object on his belt says eventually. "Keep the damn thing. It ain't good for you anyway." Oh, so it ain't good for anything anyway. Not sure if that's true, but we'll see. There's a cold metallic click echoing down from the marble corridor. A moment of silence follows. The guard looks flabbergasted, small droplets of sweat forming on their foreheads. I'll keep it all right," Garrick hisses. "It's mine, and I'll make sure you fuckers will remember that." Tensions mount as the dwarf points one end of the device towards the guards. Then he looks at you and it disappears to have an effect on him. He sticks the device into his crossbelt and shuffles out to the street, mumbling, "Another time." So you follow him down the street where he beckons you into a cheap watering hole. An hour later, Garrick and you are sitting idly, sipping mushroom wine in the tavern. You have explained to him how to get out of Collegium captivity and settled his debt. He's quite calm now, thoughtful even. Perhaps it's time to ask questions. Yeah, it's a good idea to ask what that is. He puts the device on the table, a wooden thing embossed with gold, something like a tiny crossbow without the limbs. A terrible magic weapon mate. I use an incantation and you'll be cursed so bad you'll beg for death. Not sure if that's truth. There's a pause. Eventually Gary laughs out loud. You went pale, mate. You did. He lost for a few more seconds, rubbing his eyes, then leans back in his chair and considers you for a few moments. It's a pistol, alright? A ballistic weapon. My kin used to be able to make them. You know, using black powder. Very rare these days, as you know, since my ancestors got themselves cooked right and proper. But some of these little fellas remain, and I got my hands on one. Don't bother trying to buy it or anything. Only I can use it properly, and you'll see how handy it comes. Oh, aye. Okay, let's talk about something else. Apparently there's black powder weapons, which are no longer in use. So what happened to him? Garrick makes a grimace. I got royally fucked in the arse, that's what happened, he says, clearly irritated. So-called business associates of mine conspired to bring me down. The bastards. All because I was more successful than them. I was drawn into a promising deal and then I was betrayed. I lost everything. Garrick strikes at the table with his fist in anger. The barkeep reaches for a club, but the dwarf smiles apologetically and raises his hands in gesture of peace. Anyway, that's the short version. Then I could pay the damn loaders, yada yada. I tried to get out the city, but they pinched me and I've been sitting in the fucking cell ever since, until you came. Okay, so that's enough to be heard. So, the dwarf downs the last few of gulps from his drink. I guess you haven't freed me for me good looks and charm, eh? I know how this goes. I'll work for ye and ye'll see how fucking good I'm at what I do. But I ain't working for free. Nah, that ain't me. You agree on the standard wage. Garrick seems content. That's good. It's best I take me leave and of the damned shelter for a while anyways. I got a few favors to call in all over the region. I gonna go grab my stuff. I got hidden stashes these fuckers never got a close to finding. I'll meet ye at your mansion. He must see the doubt on your face because he adds, I ain't gonna bolt if that's what you're afraid of. A little trust there, hey? I do the same. It ain't so easy to put me trust in anyone after what happened. You leave the watering hole about to go your business. So now what do I want to do? Market, yeah, my cargo is full. Not sure if I could. Those are the contracts I have. Passengers. Crystal, Lumen, Mines of Plenty. No, not my destination. I could hire more crew. Huh. Well, Slaves are much more expensive. But I guess you, yeah, they have no upkeep. Worker are cheaper. 7 workers for hire. Let's maybe hire another worker. Nope, no. So, deputies. Okay, I can only get 1 deputy, but I get 2 guys who could be deputies. Supercargo plus 15% cargo. Um, and I'm pretty at my limit. But if I don't buy anything more, I should be fine. And the Scoutmaster +1 movement point. Yeah, +1 movement point would definitely be very good. I'll take this and maybe I can raise the number of deputies I can have after leaving Temple District. What's there to be found? Although called the Temple District, this part of the city, sprawling over spacious rock terraces in the northwestern section of the gigantic main cavern, houses not only temples and shrines, but government buildings and other offices too. Lit day and night by blazing iron chandeliers, the huge dark buildings loom ominously, reminding one that even below the surface the gods rule supreme. Chanting echoes down the streets and acolytes hurrying quietly up and down the long stairs, carrying them with incense. Okay. Let's look at the Grand Mortuary. The Grand Mortuary is a series of tomb-like buildings built both upon and into the rock terraces. The main building of this necropolis is a white marble mausoleum with 3 wings. Not the largest Ashkul temple of the empire by far, but still an imposing one. Silent white-faced novices in dark tunics stand around the plazas and chant holy incantations. This is also the graveyard of the city, at least for those with enough coin to purchase a resting place in the maze of tombs below the terraces. If you wish to interact with the Church of Ashkul, you are at the right place. So, I can ask them if they don't disdain me, which they don't. See what services they offer. Defy Ashkul. Okay, why would I do that? Let's ask a priest at first. You ask a friendly death priest to tell you about the king of the underworld. They are quite used to these requests. So he immediately shifts into a lecturing register. Ashkul is the god of death, king of the underworld, who we call Great King, for he is the greatest of kings and rulers, ultimately ruling over all monarchs in death, except perhaps over the emperor, who is deathless. The elder god of death used to be Tanat, but he disappeared along with their pantheon after the calamity. Ashkul emerged and took over Tartarus, the afterlife realm where the souls of the most mortals go after death. The Great King is thought to be the first of the dead, because he is said to have died before any other being in creation. He has thus unmatched power over those that die. But Ashkul is not an angry or evil god. No, he is the caretaker of souls, and the one that grants peace to mortals after they die. Our duty is to administer the proper rituals and ensure that everyone gets their deserved respect upon leaving this world. You thank him for his time. What services would they offer? Purchase a magic candle. Have yourself and your crew blessed by the priest. Sign a contract of binding. Yeah, I would look into what a contract of binding is before I do that. But let's not do too much. Maybe take a look at the authorities. Countless administrative buildings, bureaucratic centers, and obscure offices can be found in the confines of the temple districts. Clerks and scribes run between them in droves during open hours, carrying large stacks of parchment, messages, and papers. Unless you are looking for something specific, you have no place here. Not looking for something specific, so not looking for bounties, not a fighter. So let's leave the district. I was in the Undercity. So let's rest for the day. And tomorrow leave this place. I can boost the morals a bit, and insight 2 points. Authority is what I need to get a second officer. Not enough by now. So let's end the day. I've failed my job, or my workers failed the job, but I still got some money. So, movement points are replenished. And now refresh supplies. $149. Oh, of course, 99. So, leave this place. Trudge towards the city gates. You approach the mighty gates of Torzak's shelter. One can see the scorching desert sky looming above the cruel black battlements. As the Comitatus takes its place in the long line at the vast gate, you notice a lean woman dressed in a bureaucrat's tunic and a cape approach one of your guards and talk to him briefly. They walk up to you soon afterwards. Apologies, Vagrus, the woman says, bowing head politely. I work for the magistrate of tax collection. No need to be alarmed. I'm here to present you to an opportunity. I have a message attached to some documents that need to be delivered to Aachen, to a client of ours. Should you take the message, you'll be compensated upon handing it over. What do you say? Well, I'm going to Aachen anyway, so I'll take them. Thank you, Vagrus. I am sure it'll be worth your time. Our client is a very resourceful man who works for a researcher of some renown. He awaits the message in the town of Aachen to the north, where he rents a small apartment above a tobacco shop on Siltward Street. His name is Levantius. With that, he hands over the leather case, bows her head, and takes her leave. You can see her approach the guards, talk to them briefly, point at you, then walk away. After storing the case with your personal belongings, you signal the Comitatus to move on towards the city gate. Okay. Without inspection, I got out. I can move 12 points, but only the comitatus move along the sturdy stone of the Emperor's Road. Thanks to the even surface, you make better progress than usual. Until wind comes up. The problem with straight open roads is that they don't give too much of a shelter when it comes to baleful environmental hazards. The wicked gale of wasteland attacks the comitatus with full force, making it nearly impossible to get ahead. Well, there's no other option than to defy the wind, so let's try that. I'm tough though, so I have a 3% bonus, so very low chance. And a fail, sure. No matter what you try, it just won't do. The furious wind scatters and hinders your crew to the point that you lose precious time. After some hours, it's fortunately ebbs, but by then you are already way behind your schedule. Damn. -5 movement points, okay. So it really throws me back. I could have lost 2 movement points and not felt it, but 5 means I won't go to here. So, I'm out of movement points, let's rest. Hunting is still at a 100% failure rate, so let's not try that. No point. Boosts the morale. Daily upkeep is paid. Workforce 13 of 10 needed. Everything good. So, again 2 insight. Oh, very good. So now I have 4 and I can increase my authority, which means I can add Garrick as supercargo deputy. So, let's end the day. Fail at foraging, but I at least got 2 units of supplies. The map. Just a short look. I need to... Here I am, and I need to go to Aachen, so to the crossroads north, and then to the west. Follow the crossroads. Up to 12 movement points. Oh, I got even 13 movement points. Experienced travelers can often foretell the weather in this forsaken wasteland, but one is never sure about such matters. The curse that festers on the continent can cause unpredictable changes in the environment, often very rapidly. Today started with fairly mild weather, but soon turned into a storm of sand and ash, causing you to seriously rethink your course of action. So, I have 5 movement points left. Yeah, let's not take the risk. You find a ravine that provides sufficient shelter and you place the cards to block the wind. Sitting out such tempestuous days is never good for business, but at least gives some free time to rest, make repairs, socialize, and play games. You and your comms quickly end up playing several rounds of dice, and the cards echo with laughter, bets, and jeering. A blessing disguised as a curse. 2 points of morale, and I lost my remaining movement points. Yeah, I didn't really need the morale. I'm already at 9, which is the maximum. And I could boost it because I don't use my resourcefulness for anything but pushing morale right now. But at least nothing bad happened. So, let's end this day. And this time I didn't get any supplies by foraging. That's too bad. because those cost quite a lot. Let's move along the road. Here are the crossroads, then we go north. And nothing happened today. So, oh, too bad. I think I just ended the day and I can't look if I could have spent this one movement point I have left. Well, it won't be the end of the world. Let's end this day. And I failed, but not that bad, so I got 8 points of supplies. So Arkan is here. 2 points, 2 points. What's the fastest way? Okay, probably this route. So we will take this little shortcut and move somewhat off the road. Everything fine, nothing happened. Camp. What are my supplies? I used up 117 points of supplies so far. Okay, let's end the day. 7 points of supplies back. And now I will make it to my destination, Arkan. If nothing comes between. One of your scouts reconnoitering at the flank of the Comitatus gives you a sign. He has found something of interest. As you walk over to him, you see that the ground is covered in probably animal blood and excrement. Nice. Judging from the droppings, I'd guess it's some large tetrapod. Most likely a sclerat, whatever that might be. I will look after I read. The scout speculates, heavily wounded, maybe even close to death if that blood is any indication. The piles of dung and bloodstains continue for a while but disappear after a dozen paces or so. Most likely the ever-shifting dunes have covered them. Still, a skilled tracker could be able to find the animal. It couldn't have gone far, losing that much blood. Maybe there's something to be gained here. Okay, so I could maybe loot the carcass. Who knows what made it bleed? We're not taking any chances. This might be worth looking into. Hunting 10%, but a low chance of success. So what's a slerat? This guy. Slerats are large quadrupedal reptiles, originally hailing from the deserts of the east. They are widely used as cargo hauling beasts of burden in contemporary Xaren, despite their huge appetite and dangerous bulk. So it's probably something like my beast of burden. Appearance. Over 10 feet tall, some weighing over 9,000 pounds. Okay, that's one big lizard. Slerats are dim-witted and cantankerous, usually slow to react and to stimuli, but are still easier to handle than many other beasts of the waste. So, do I want to take the risk? Yeah, sure. What could go wrong? Fail. So, the winds and the sand have been busy. You and your scouts look around for about half an hour, but you can't find any clear sign regarding where the dying animal might have gone. It would be foolish to wander off in some random direction. There are plenty of dead beasts in the wastelands. Time to leave. So, nothing bad happened. And I didn't lose any movement points. So, to Aachen. This time I arrive. So, I enter the city. And now I can turn in my contracts. So I got lots of cargo space, some house points, 1 point of insight. Oh, I'm already at 4 more points. Of the next point of authority would be 6 points of insight though. Authority, resourcefulness even 8. Perceptive. I have really lots of points for perceptive. Probably from items and other things. So let's have a look at that later. Are there any faction contracts? I could just go back to Torzak's shelter, which would be a quite safe route. And should be rather profitable. So I think I didn't find the one to give that journal to. So let's explore the city. It appears to be an ordinary day as you roam the mining settlement of Arkan with a few of your trusted companions and a handful of crew members. A light wind blows from the east, carrying some of the ever-present dust, and all around you can hear a cacophony of diligent labor. There's quite a crowd on the street, mostly local workers and merchants wearing masks and turbans. Once per day I can take a look around what's going on, so I will do that. As you stroll among the streets, the air becomes even hotter than average, and usually still, the wind dies. This should be suspicious by itself, but then you look around and realize that people are rushing into buildings. Awnings are being taken down, while window panes and doors are being shut. This doesn't bode well. Yes, I agree. Finally, you look up and see that the horizon to the east has turned into a dark red haze. A dust storm is upon Arkan. It's only a few seconds and suddenly the wind howls with all its strength again, and a fierce torrent of sand wipes over the streets, obstructing both sight and movement. You must find shelter as quickly as possible. From behind the crimson curtain a dark shape emerges, waving towards you. Here, you fool, quickly follow me. Yes, I will do that. I don't want to go into this wind. Through the ever-growing howling dust storm, you follow the dark shape of a stranger. You turn around the corner and there you see it. The figure stands next to the black shape of a cellar entrance, beckoning you to follow. By now the storm has grown incredibly fierce. Without giving it a second thought, you hurry inside. Once everyone is safe, the stranger shuts the heavy cellar door behind you. You find yourself in a spacious, dim vault. Several ragtag fellows are here as well, along with your rescuer, all having sought shelter from the elements. Thanks, you mutter. You can thank us by paying. Don't think we risk our well-being to save foolhardy foreigners like you for free. That would be too changes, if you please. Changes are... I don't... I'm not sure. I think it's the least of my currency. So, yeah. Yeah, it's the least one. Not too much. Glad there are no hard feelings, your rescuer says. With that, everyone settles down and bides their time as best as they can. Eventually, storm passes and it's safe to go outside again. It appears to be okay. So, I lost some money. The constant sculptor. The curious shop, one street of the market beneath the shadow, is its awning. A variety of strange sculptures, both small and large, stand on display. The statues depict various creatures, mostly sentient beings of the Riven realms. The only thing they have in common is that they all appear to be unfinished to some degree, and that their faces seem to express some kind of reverential longing, or is that pain? From inside the shop you hear the sound of hammering and chiseling. Let's look at that. You enter a spacious venue stuffed to the walls with sculptures, crafting materials, and all kinds of tools. In the far end you see an archway opening to a huge inner yard, also filled with statues and large slabs of raw stone. In a corner an enormous figure stands hunched over the workbench, busily chipping away at something with a chisel. Upon hearing you enter, it turns around, revealing a sight you weren't prepared for. Greetings, I'm Thutmose, the proprietor of this store. How may I serve you? He or it says, with a voice reminiscent of two slabs of coarse stone grinding against each other. Thutmose looks almost like a statue himself, but only almost. His limbs and torso appear to be made of crude clay, except for his hands, that are those of bone-fingered skeleton. His head is a yellowed skull with an eerie glow in the eye sockets, and his chest is open, revealing a frail ribcage within the clay hull. All in all, it looks like someone started to encase a human skeleton inside a constant damp clay golem of sorts, but hasn't quite finished the job. Strange fellow. Yeah, let's ask about his wares. Maybe he has something special. Of course, the skeleton jaw utters, mocking the movement of living lips quite unnecessarily. The voice seems to come from somewhere inside the body. Everything you see around here is for sale. Take your time, browse at your leisure. I'm also interested in buying statues of you, should you have any for sale. So how much would a sculpture cost? Yeah, but where to sell them? Nah, let's just say goodbye and take a leave. Ah, Levantius. That was the fellow I have to give that book. Siltwood Street dozes sleepily under the hot daytime sun, fragrant with sharp bitter odor of tobacco and buckwheat, sold by a multitude of vendors here. As you make your way to the three-storied white building where Levantius dwells, you are offered all kinds of baccy incense, reefers, pipes, hookahs, and the like, materials and accessories for the connoisseurs of recreational smoking. You dismiss the merchant. You are here for a different reason. Yes, I need to enter his house. The ground floor of the building is occupied by yet another tobacco shop, the owner of which simultaneously serves as the landlord for a handful of tiny rooms she rents out for those who look for long-term yet temporary stay in Aachen. The Tarkian woman doesn't seem to care too much for your confidentiality, for the safety or the privacy of her guests. as she immediately and without question points you to the upmost floor when you ask for Levantius. Ascending a ladder, you come to what is basically the rooftop covered by a large tent and rickety septums. To add a few more bedrooms, the building, in one of more spacious ones, you find a young dark-haired slender fellow dressed in a tunic, wearing half-moon glasses and bent over a shaky desk he improvised from small crates, a traveling chest and various ledgers. Need neither smoke nor food, nor wine, nor woman, he mutters without looking at you, as he hears you enter, busy with his calculations. Not now, not later, not ever. I'm not sure I already mentioned that. I'm told you might need this, you say, waving the letter you were given to deliver, straight from the magistrate of tax collection in Torzak's shelter. If you are Levantius, that is. The young man looks at you, his face suggesting sharp wit, his eyes probing. I am, he replies. I am indeed. And you are? You introduce yourself and hand him the letter. Finally, things seem to move along. What an utterly unexpected surprise, he mumbles to himself. Ah, and thank you. He unfolds the letter and starts to read immediately. Then, without looking up, he adds absently, pleased to meet you, of course. Then, with an instant, he seems to forget you were even there. At first he reads eagerly, but after a few moments an expression of jaded disappointment appears on his face. Splendid, just splendid. He sighs, he sighs and goes on sputtering. Now there's the imperial bureaucracy in full swing, as I know, reliably incompetent as ever. Good job, you cretins. Top of the line indeed. Would that you encountered a slarled bull during mating season and I'm not sure I know what that means. You demonstratively clear your throat. Levantius looks up once again, slightly irritated. You are still here, he states matter of fact. Was there something you wanted? Then he remembers. But of course, I am to pay you the fee for delivery. Forgive me. It's just that I have a lot on my mind, and this piece of moronic writing certainly didn't help to diminish any of that. Too bad, my friend. But that's not your fault now, is it? After some rummaging, he finds a coin and gives it to you. Thank you again. You have certainly traveled far to bring me this. Then a thought seems to cross his mind. That's not much, my friend. Say friend, he continues while examining you pensively. Am I right to assume that you are quite a traveler? I think that's a fair assumption. You and Levantius nod at the same time as he is answering his own question. Of course, he says. Would you care to take me with you as passenger, in case you have plans to visit Lumen anytime soon? Lumen. Let's rather look at the map. But not Lumen. Codex. Let's search for Lumen. And then could I mark that? failed at that. If that's possible. If not, they should really make that possible. Ah, here's South Caleros Lumen. Which would mean I need to go back to Torzak's shelter and then to the west. Or take a direct route. Sure, if the price is right. Levantius relaxes a bit before sputtering on. Good, thank you. At least that's one problem out of the way. I shall give you an advance for your troubles right now. The rest you will receive from my employer, Mistress Kandaka, as soon as we arrive. Just let me gather my things and cancel my stay here with the wheat-breathing hack downstairs. I promise not to be a burden. So, Levantius joins. +5 changer. That's that's really not much. 5 changer, okay. Nice, pal. So, I might as well. Let's trade in my news and get some changer. And are there any Lumen contracts? There are. There are several. So, House Venari, House Oko. House Oko already knows and likes me a little. 2 cargo slots, delivers 16 marble to Lumen. So let's do that. And I have 80 cargo space. And loader skilled Lumen. 16 marble. Do I know how much this weighs? Not really. Let's take the loader's contract and just see. 120 of 138, so I'm fine. So is there some cool equipment stuff here? It requires me to have beast law to use it effectively, I guess. So not useful. Extra storage awnings. Already have both of them. Let's just hire an additional worker and maybe the cargo space does increase. Or maybe not, I'll see. Yeah, just by 1. That's not much. And my daily consumption rises. Yeah, okay. It is for sale if you are interested in mining. I'm fine. So, rest for today. Maybe I get some currency. have 14 of 11 workforce needed. And the day. And I did successfully gain some currency. So, go to the market, restock my supplies. Wow, I've lost a lot of supplies here. So, cargo, supplies. Let's not buy too much. Let's go for 146. Would really be useful to see how much cargo that adds. 120. 40 more, and I'm at 120. So one stack has a specific weight probably. So I'm fine with buying 199 to get to the full 215 stack, yes. So let's take our leave of Arkan. And now can I somewhat move around here? No. I can move around here, but not on this part of the map. Now do I take the safe route or do I... Safe route is much longer. It's rather short if I go direct route. And who says if that is a real good road? So let's just move here. Yeah, I already see Lumen now. Scouting. Nah, not enough points for that. So just take a rest. Ah, okay. Now with my Scoutmaster, I have at least some chance to get hunting. Let's do that. So I regained 23 supply units. That's quite nice. So now I'm at 210, so I lost 40 points. Even though I really got lots of supplies. Let's move some more. No incidents. Very nice. Let's end this day. No one got harmed, but only 3 units. And now I'm at 150, 90 units. Oh, I just can't count right now. So, if nothing happens, I'm already at my destination. That was really quick. So, I took a good bet, I guess. Lumen. Those persistent enough to travel towards the blinding light and scorching heat of the South Caleros eventually reached the town of Lumen, probably named for all those crystals, and glimpse its sandstone buildings protected by its shielding wall. Yet most of the settlement was built under the sands, sheltered from lethal temperatures and unbearable shine of the surface. at night. Brigades of prospectors flood the still searing crystal forest to get their hands on as rich bounty as they can, hauling it back to Lumen. Bustling underground markets, apart from Imperial Crystal harvesting, the town is famous for its resident crystal mancers, ever delving into the secrets of the Caleros. Okay, so let's turn in my goods. That was quite some money, easily made. Now I have this traveler with me still, I guess. I'll exchange my news. I still have him, yes. So, where do I have to take him? Escort Levantius to his mistress. There it is. Okay, so that's probably a quest location. Kandake at the Distrade. Levantius leads you to the underground vaults of Lumen, where his employer resides on a somewhat secluded street. You come to a huge bolted door to which a piece of parchment is fastened. Enter at your own peril. That's just for keeping the undesirables away, Levantius explains as he quickly pushes a few hidden panels and opens the door. Mistress Kandake entertains herself with some rather unorthodox experiments, true, but the greatest danger here is the harrowing effect her extraordinary messiness might have on more organized minds, you'll see. As soon as you step inside, you can see that he was right. The interior of the vast workshop is a veritable labyrinth of scrolls, books, slates, shelves, chests, workbenches, alembics, minerals, unidentifiable tools, and other apparatus. Amidst astrolabes and braziers on chains, a complete skeleton of what must have been a kravak hangs from the ceiling. A prominently placed display stands in full of reptilian bones and scales of various sizes and colors. Drawing boards feature sketches of leathery wings, claws, fangs, vertebrae, skulls, and other anatomical parts of, there are no doubt about that, dragons. Okay, dragons. You almost jump when suddenly from amidst the chaos a thin, ghost-like apparition emerges as you pass as and passes by you. It is pale, middle-aged woman, not unprepossessing in her strangeness, dressed wholly in white with short hair of the same color. Levantius, you are home, she asks in a high singing voice without looking at either you or stopping even for a moment. That would be Mistress Kandake, says Levantius with resignation. Levantius matches her step and signals you to come along. An accurate observation, as always, Domina, he sputters. I would supplement it, if I may, with the addendum that I am, in fact, 2 months early, thanks to our highly esteemed contacts at the Magistratum of Tax Collection. Not that I'd assume to bog you down with such minute details. I just thought it would be in order to inform you. Good work, Levantius. Good work. Kandake replies while opening a drawer and examining its content with a frown. And our guest, also from the Magistratum? You didn't think she even noticed you, Levantium clears his throat. No, Domina. This here is the wayfarer who was kind enough to escort me from Aachen. Kandake nods and hums. Levantius clears his throat again. For a fee, as is usual, he adds pointedly. Oh yes, quite, his mistress says, opening another drawer and offering a bulging pouch heavy with coin in your general direction. Nice of you to bring back Levantius. He is so lost sometimes. I wonder how he'll manage when we are finally out there. You can tell Levantius had ample time to practice how to keep his composure. That is not much I got at. I think there are 8 from the copper currency that they call lurk, which is not that much. Good that you mention it, Domina, he smiles politely. It occurred to me while traveling with our new friend here that, inept as I am, it would be feasible to seek further assistance in our endeavors, for which a possible candidate is practically right at hand. Kanaka regards the two of you with beady eyes. You mean to suggest to hire the Vagrus? She asks. Levantius smiles even more politely. That was indeed the gist of my words, Domina. Kandake gives this a thought, then shrugs. Of course, why not? Then she turns to you, although her gaze is directed somewhere behind your back. Do you seek employment? I have coin. I hope you have more than that. Weighing the pouch she just gave you as if it was nothing. You have no doubt of that. Well, let's say I do. Wonderful, Kandake says with a radiant smile. I'm looking forward to work with you. With that, she turns away and disappears quickly in the maze that is her workshop. You give Levantius a quizzical look. I know, he shrugs. The mistress tends to be preoccupied with less worldly matters. But don't let that deter you. She is brilliant otherwise. I would not suffer her I would not suffer her whimsies and wealthy. That, of course, is also an important factor. As for your work, right now we are in a bit of disarray, but if you return sometime later, we will surely have some errands for you to run. If I can get her to focus, that is. Leaving the strange workshop, you can't help but wonder what you've gotten yourself into. So... Calero's protective gear that fits either where my dog is. Not really interesting. How much? Sell prices, buy prices, nothing to be gained here. Buy price, lumen. Sell price, not worth. Not worth. Yeah, nothing to be gained. Not really trade opportunities at hand here. Buy price. Luxury wine. No. Mushroom beer. No. Nothing. A strange store. Let's see into that. Rumors. A strange store. People gossip about a strange little shop in Sunrock cut into the rock face and of a frequented plaza run by an odd being. Nobody seems to agree on the creature's origin and looks, though. They say it sells curious goods and rare treasures. Okay. Sunrock. Where is Sunrock? Is that a big city? Toth, Radan, Angret, Lirinia, Avernum, Kunda. Probably not that big. Ah, there's Sunrock. Okay. So... But what faction contracts are here? To the Crimson Gate? That's quite a ride. Torzak's Shelter, Torzak's Shelter, Torzak's Shelter. So... I should take the contracts to Torzak's Shelter. I can take all three, I think. One space, one space, one space. So let's take them all. Now then, are there any passengers to... Only to Mirage. Not somewhere I want to go. The busiest tavern in town, let's visit that. The establishment at the heart of Lumen is swarming with people from all corners of the Empire and beyond during the most hours of the day. Vagri, mercenaries, laborers, prospectors and all kinds of travelers gather here to share stories and let off some steam. After a long day, shafts of light penetrate the twilight through holes bored into the ceiling of the underground common room. The smell of cheap booze and sweet tobacco fills the air. There's also the constant low murmur of gossiping people. Drink, chat, share news, travel with other travelers, look for potential recruits. Yeah, let's look for a recruit. As you ask around and learn from the barman that one of their bouncers, the fellow named Harvek, is leaving the blind Jakra, he might be interested in joining a comitatus. You get the impression that the staff is looking forward to getting rid of him as fast as possible. Let's talk to that nice fellow, he must be a joy to hang around with. You find Harvek sitting at a table near the wall of the common room. Nothing about him or his disposition gives you the impression that he works here. Empty mugs are strewn across the table and he's playing with a nasty knife as you approach him. "What you want?" he rasped without looking up. Before you is a large man, completely bald, yet the first things everyone notices about Harvek is his scythe-like right arm, compound eyes and other insectoid features. Clearly the results of the taint. You tell him that the word is he might be interested in work and talk about your venture briefly. Harvek's face remains blank, but he looks up and listens intently. When you are done, he motions to the chair across him. "You have piqued my interest, I give you that. Probably he is cut off abruptly by the arrival of two burly men with malevolent gazes. This doesn't look good. So, get up, fucker, one of the men spits, seething with anger. Harvek does not move. It is hard to make heads or tails of his expression because of the inhuman compound eyes. Think we're afraid of you because we are in that slammer? I said, gee. The man cannot finish because the bouncer lunges forward with lightning speed, slashing him across the chest with his mantis arm. The other fellow strikes him on the head with a powerful fist in retaliation, and in seconds a terrible brawl is underway. Another man wielding a knife soon joins the fray against the tainted bouncer, while the rest of the tavern staff seems disinclined to get involved. So, help is not my strong suit, I guess. Sit and wait what happens. Aid the man in bringing down the bouncer, not what I want to do. Um, do I want to risk... I mean, I want to help him, though I will probably fail. I guess I won't die, so let's help him. I did succeed! Well, very nice. You jump up and dash a crude chair over the back of one of the attackers. Everything afterwards turns into a blur of fists, growing pain and swearing. In the end, you and the bouncer manage to beat up 3 attackers. Harvek grabs the first attacker, a burly man, by his tunic collar and leans close. Your carpenter buddies put up a much better fight. With a ferocious headbutt, Harvek knocks out the fellow before he could speak. Several broken teeth clatter onto the floor. After the sickening crunch, you look around the common room and the contempt towards you and the bouncer is almost palpable. Okay, now I get what this was. We better leave, boss. The caravans won't do anything, but I don't want them to throw these glances at us. You follow Harvek outside and lead him to a small cafe laid out under colorful awnings and at the side of the men's show. The bouncer buys you a round of Takian coffee. That's probably quite expensive. Expensive is the word I was looking for. Okay. I had coffee beans to start with, and they were really pricey. The coffee is warm and delicious. You lean back on large pillows and face Harvek, who has finished his drink and is grinning at you. Sorry for the little scene back there, Vagrus, but that's done now. And I was beginning to get interesting in your little presentation before those losers cut you off. I suppose an offer was about to follow, or perhaps you wanted to ask questions, eh? To judge old Harvek, if he's capable, if he can be trusted. Nah, I think he's capable and... and I guess he likes me now that I helped him with the brawl and I even managed to get his enemies down, so just take him. Ask him why he wants to be on the road. Ask him about his past, ask him about his skills. Well, he would be a rather good fighter, I guess. So, why do you want to be on the road? You mean apart from being tired of sitting on my ass and becoming unwanted here? Harvek chuckles. Alright, might as well be honest about it. So the thing is that this recent encounter opened my eyes to the fact that those who got me into that damned prison are still out and about, pulling strings. I might as well visit them and get some kinda payback. These people are all around the realms. I would not go out of my way to pay them a visit, but if I find one of them, I'll let you know and we can talk about possibilities. So, sure, let's take him. So, will you have me in your comitatus, boss? Harvick's lips twist in a crooked smile. Yes, hire him. I even got Loader's Guild status. Harvick joins your comitatus. Harvick rises from his pillows and shakes your hand. You won't regret it. You'll see. I'll get my gear quick as a snake, he says, and I'll meet you at the mansion here in a moment. As far as I'm concerned, we can get on the road right away, boss. So, I will take a rest. I think I do want to get to the Crimson Gate afterwards anyway. Get to somewhere new. Where was the Crimson Gate? No, it's not down there. So where was it? Where was the Crimson Gate? Not sure where it... Okay, there it is. So it is on the way to that as well. So let's just take a job for the Crimson Gate as well. And that will be my next... Or not that I don't have enough cargo space. I should probably be fine. Yeah, it's okay. So, here is the rest. I'm not yet used to finding that. So, let's rest for today. Workforce, everything good. Everything good. Crew change. Yeah, everything good. Failed, but at least got something. And now let's stock up on supplies. 163, that's right. And that didn't make much overall, I think. Well, let's hope that changes soon. Now, at this point I will save, and tomorrow it will go on from here.